This page is the front cover. It's all about Nintendo 100% action and shouting, "Got an N64? Then get this!" You can see a stack of controllers to get you interested. The main focus is Star Fox 64, billed as a world-exclusive review, and they're calling it the greatest shoot-'em-up of all time. Fox McCloud is right there in the middle of the page. They're also teasing reviews for Zelda 64, Human GP, Duke Nukem, and Blast Corps, and you get a little glimpse of screenshots from each of those games. Looks like Zelda 64 showing Hyrule Market, Human GP is a racing game, Duke Nukem doing his thing, and Blast Corps is all about smashing stuff up with robots. Down at the bottom, Mario is saying solved, and mentioning tips for Mario 64, Turok and Shadows of the Empire. It's Volume 2, and cost £3.95 back in the day. This page is split right down the middle. On the left you've got Wave Race 64 with Go Ahead. Rub it in, splashed across it, showing off that jet ski game where you can apparently thrash the wetsuits off everyone. A bit of cheeky fun there. Then on the other side, it's all about Star Fox 64, calling itself a special collector's edition, and boasting a world-exclusive review. After 4 years in space, they say, making a big deal about the return. Mario's even chiming in with solved, and they're teasing tips for Mario 64, Turok, and Shadows of the Empire, and telling you to turn to page 16 now. Looks like Star Fox 64 is the main event this issue then. This page is the contents page for Volume 2 of 64 magazine. It's teasing the Star Fox 64 review again with the headline, Foxy Loxy or Turkey Lurkey. Wondering if it's a hit or miss, after all that hype on the last page. They're also shouting about the N64 price dropping to £150, which was good news back then. Looking at the games section, they've got previews for a bunch of upcoming titles, and review scores for games they've already covered. In previews they mention games like Mother 3, Duke Nukem 3D, San Francisco Rush, Multi-Racing Champ, Silicon Valley, Mission Impossible, Goman 5, Clay Fighter, Extreme, Doraemon, Bomberman 64, Cruisin' World and Mace. The Dark Ages. Quite a lineup of games coming soon. For the reviews section, Star Fox 64 is listed at page 16, naturally, alongside Blast Corps, Human Grand Prix, Turok Dinosaur Hunter, FIFA 64, NBA Hang Time, Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey, and Mortal Kombat Trilogy. They've also got awards, calling games over 90% a sizzler, and over 95% a gold medal winner, showing off their scoring system which covers graphics, sound, gameplay and challenge. There's a bit about have you seen these boxes, and memory options, and their regular $64,000 question feature too. Looks like a packed issue. Nintendo slashed the N64 price to £149, a move to compete with the PlayStation's £150 and previously £250 price point. This drastic cut, announced May 1st and effective May 3rd, aimed to make the official PAL machine a better deal than imported US consoles. The section also confirms Turok 2 is in development by Iguana, promising improvements over the first game. Another piece details the differences between NTSC, or US/Japanese, and PAL, UK, N64 consoles, highlighting that NTSC offers superior picture quality and speed, especially with RGB conversion, although requires a compatible TV. Finally, the section includes a top 5 Nintendo mascots list, with Mario topping the list, followed by Donkey Kong, Kirby, Link, and Yoshi. The 64 chat section highlights the N64 and upcoming 64DD, driven by Miyamoto's game ideas, promising new gameplay experiences. A release date section details games by region, UK, Japan, US. The UK has a solid June lineup including Mario Kart 64. Japan sees June releases with Star Fox 64 coming later. The UK has a strong July to September schedule, including GoldenEye 007 and Duke Nukem 3D. News includes Duke Nukem Forever for N64 and Turrican 64 announcement, skipping Factor 5, promising intense action. The 64DD will have a modem in early '98, offering network play, potentially giving Nintendo an edge over the PlayStation. Lamborghini Lust previews the game from Titus as an outrun-style racer. Lastly, an article addresses region locking, explaining methods to play imported NTSC games on UK PAL N64s using adapters or modifications. This issue previews several upcoming N64 games and accessories. The Rumble Pack is highlighted as a must-have, enhancing gameplay with vibration feedback in games like San Francisco Rush and Zelda 64. Zelda 64, Ocarina of Time, is highly anticipated, now launching on cartridge before a later disc version, with expectations it will be a masterpiece. The LMP steering wheel is introduced. The magazine also explores the pros and cons of playing import games. The controller pack, for safe game saves, is discussed. The top 5 games are listed in the 64 charts. Additionally, there are previews of upcoming races, including Extreme G and Buggy Boogie. Rareware's E3 presence is noted, and rumors about Ocean developing a racer called Space Circus are mentioned. Finally, Castlevania 64 is previewed, promising a 3D adventure in Dracula's castle. This page from a gaming magazine features a queue and a section about the Nintendo 64. Readers ask about Japanese cartridge compatibility, requiring guardrail removal, the UK release date of Star Fox 64 between July to September, and the differences between Doom 64 and Quake. 64DD games are explained as a separate storage system. Other topics include import game adapters and playing UK games in America. The When I'm 64 section contains reader feedback, with one praising the magazine's mature tone and another noting the art editor's history with Zap 64. A competition is also highlighted, offering a chance to win a Nintendo 64 and Star Fox 64. Contestants must answer Star Fox-related questions by calling a premium rate number before June 20, 1997. This page advertises Nintendo 64 accessories and games. Key accessories include the Ultra 64 1MB memory card, £19.99, a universal converter, £19.99, for playing imported games, and the Pro Series RGB/SCART converter, £29.99, for improved picture quality. Other items include the extender cable, £8.99, a controller pad memory cartridge, £19.99, the SFX64 universal adapter, £14.99, and a Pro Series video cable, £9.99. Excitement Direct offers N64 consoles and bundles, starting at £149.99, with special deals like the Turok offer and Superstar Soccer 64 deal. The page also lists a variety of N64, Super NES, Saturn, PlayStation, and Mega Drive games, some with listed prices and others marked call. A US Nintendo 64 Plus Any Game offer is available for £249.99. This page is a review of Star Fox 64 for the Nintendo 64, calling it a graphical showcase and praising its speed and fluidity, especially when dealing with those enormous boss characters. The information box at the top gives you the key details. Nintendo both published and developed it. It's a shoot 'em up. The Japanese version was reviewed. It's out now as an import, costing a hefty £89.99. The review itself describes Star Fox 64 as like a blockbuster manga space opera, dwarfing even the likes of Star Wars in its scope. It talks about facing massive creatures and squadrons of enemy fighters, and the spectacular boss battles that involve mutation and transformation. The reviewer notes the shift from 2D scrolling shoot-em-ups to the 3D action of Star Fox 64, acknowledging it updates the genre for the 21st century. It does mention that it's less tactical or exploratory than games like Starfighter or 3D Starfighter, focusing more on pure arcade action. There are screenshots on the page, including a large one showing a boss fight, and smaller ones showcasing Fox's wingmen and the Landmaster tank in action on a desert planet. It's also mentioned that you can choose between cockpit and chase viewpoints, and that you get to use the Landmaster tank in some stages. Finally, a little box points out the memory options, noting that it saves high scores, but doesn't use the controller pack. Star Fox 64 plunges players into a space adventure, where Fox McCloud and his team must stop the evil Andross. You pilot the R-Wing fighter, a visually stunning craft, through diverse levels, from tight corridors to open expanses. The game emphasizes action, ditching traditional instrument panels for immediate combat. Damage is realistic, with impacts affecting the ship. Power-ups, like charged lasers, are available, along with homing missiles. Levels are filled with enemies like the tough yellow drones, and memorable boss battles with unique personalities. Special moves like loop-de-loops are essential for dogfights. Controls are intuitive, utilizing the stick for direction, and buttons for lasers, bombs, and speed boosts. Barrel rolls offer brief shielding. Supporting Fox are his wingmen, Falco Lombardi, a skilled but impulsive pilot, Peppy Hare, providing tactical advice, and Slippy Toad, the often rescued comic relief. The game's story adapts based on player choices, culminating in a Star Wars-esque victory celebration. This page is a review of Star Fox 64, and it's fair to say they are raving about it. They mention the practice mode being similar to the original game and a good intro for new players, though perhaps a bit dull. The article then talks about the new controls being essential for the advanced 3D environments, which are more dynamic and open than before. They highlight the clever enemy AI, noting how they individually hunt you down and are pretty skilled at getting on your tail. There's a section about the Landmaster tank sections, saying it's not just about the R-Wing. Apparently, these tank levels offer something different, and the controls for the tank are similar to the R-Wing, but with jump jets and sideways skidding. Finally, they get to the multiplayer mode, calling it one of the most anticipated features. It supports up to 4 players in frantic dogfights, with modes where you play until a kill limit or time limit is reached, or even infinite lives with drones. They mention 2 environment types, countryside and a space junkyard. They praise the clever color coding for lasers and lock-ons in multiplayer, making it clear who's who amidst the chows. Overall, they think it's an excellent party game with amazing fun, despite some minor issues like the confusing radar in multiplayer. The screenshots show off various aspects of the game, including R-Wing combat, Landmaster tank gameplay, and the 4-player split-screen multiplayer mode. Star Fox 64 receives high praise in this magazine review. The Rumble Pack support enhances immersion with realistic force feedback. The game's graphics are lauded, with diverse environments and impressive effects showcasing the N64's capabilities. The review highlights stunning visuals, including laser fire and explosions, and mentions creative enemy designs. Gameplay tips are provided for various levels, emphasizing power-up management and challenging checkpoints, reminiscent of R-Type. Combos for the R-Wing and tank are briefly mentioned. The game earns top marks in graphics, audio, gameplay, and lasting challenge, resulting in a 95% overall score. The summary calls it the best shoot-'em-up since Space Invaders, and deems it a must-have title. The next page is a review of Blast Corps for the Nintendo 64. It's titled Blast Corps in huge letters, making it clear what we're looking at. The review is part of the R64 review section of the magazine. The 9 information box tells us it's published by Nintendo and developed by Rare, an arcade shoot-'em-up type game, released as an import and priced at £69.99. They reviewed the US version. The review highlights the game's premise, causing $1 million worth of damage in a minute. It mentions memory options, stating 1 limited save slot and controller pack support for 4 save slots. There's a section on the Ram Dozer, describing it as having a destructiveness of 4, speed of 4 and handling of 5. It's described as a great bulldozer with a Ferrari-like acceleration and power slides. The screenshots showcase the gameplay, with vehicles smashing through buildings and structures. One screenshot shows a congratulations screen, suggesting progress in the game. The review mentions a status screen, with globe spinning in space, levels, and bonus games. It talks about unlocking new levels, vehicles, and game styles, including charging bulldozers and stomping rocketmen. The review touches upon the developer, Ultimate, Play the Game, founded by Chris and Tim Stamper, noting they were behind Spectrum best-selling games and their reputation for high-quality titles, even releasing games at twice the price of the competition. They mention Ultimate's history and their eventual disappearance, coinciding with Nintendo entering the Japanese market. The review continues with vehicle assessments for Blast Corps. The Backlash offers powerful slides but lacks missiles. Skyfall is a nimble racer requiring boosted timing. The Cyclone Suit is a smaller, more agile version of the Thunder Fist. 4-wheel fun vehicles like the A-Team van, American Dream, Starsky's car, and Police car are designed for exploration and bonus challenges. The review highlights downtown detonation levels, demanding precision and creative use of vehicles, including pushing TNT and using a dumpster truck. The A Riotous Arcade Experience section emphasizes the game's addictive timing mechanics, requiring mastery of quirky vehicles and challenging level designs. Later levels involve switching vehicles, finding hidden paths, and precise maneuvers for success. The review concludes that mastering the dumpster truck's feel is crucial. The next page features a review of Blast Corps, continuing from the previous page's vehicle descriptions. It highlights the J-Bomb vehicle, praising its skyscraper demolition capabilities, noting its destructiveness, speed and handling stats. The review then moves on to Thunder Fist, a visually impressive robot, good for flattening buildings but less common. The Save Me section explains the game's hybrid save system using both cartridge and controller pack, detailing its nuances and potential pitfalls like losing saves if the controller pack is lost. Back 2 Pack touches on the game's graphics engine, praising the polygonal design and lighting, mentioning humorous touches like Pac-Man homages in bonus games. Top Tips offers gameplay advice for specific levels like Argent Towers, Ironstone Mine, Ebony Coast, Glory Crossing, Oyster Harbor, and Tempest City, providing concise hints for each. Finally, Ballista is reviewed, described as a fast rocket-firing bike, highlighting its speed, handling and rocket barrage attack, and its challenging twitchy steering. Screenshots show in-game action, including J-Bomb destroying a building, Thunderfist somersaulting, and the Ballista bike in action. This page carries on with the Blast Core review, giving it a solid 88% overall. They reckon it's original, addictive, and brilliantly presented, especially praising the challenge for high-score fanatics. They break down the ratings, giving it near top marks across the board for graphics, audio, gameplay, and lasting challenge. There's a section showing the Nintendo 64 controller layout for the game, and it notes, "Combos none." The review then details the sideswipe vehicle, calling it a stunningly realistic vehicle when seen up close, but tricky to handle due to its size. It's got a destructiveness of 5, speed of 4, and handling of 3 apparently, with hydraulic rams for attacks. Looking across the page, there's an advert for gameplay, shouting about price, quality, service, and boasting about being Britain's largest mail-order supplier. They're flogging consoles and games, with loads of Nintendo 64 bundles and separate games listed with prices. You've got the classic Mario 64 bundles, Pilot Wings Shadows of the Empire, Wave Race and Turok Dinosaur Hunter, all mentioned and priced. They're pushing UK Nintendo 64 games in particular, and even list upcoming Nintendo 64 releases by month. Games like Joust X, Killer Instinct Gold, and Mario Kart 64 are listed. Trial. Finally, there's a mail order form for gameplay at the bottom if you wanted to order anything. This review covers the N64 racing game, Human GP. The review calls it a glorified Super NES game, despite being the system's first serious driving game, excluding Mario Kart. While praised for its analog controls and features like weather effects and car tuning, the game isn't seen as a technical showcase. The review highlights a 78% overall score, with graphics receiving a good rating but audio scoring lower. Gameplay and lasting appeal are considered average. The review criticizes the lack of realistic crashes, juddering on contact, and poor audio quality. The lack of official licenses means no real-world teams or sponsors. However, the ability to edit driver names is a positive. The verdict is that the game is atmospheric, but doesn't fully utilize the 64-bit capabilities. Question. Damien Butt's review of Turok Dinosaur Hunter on the N64 highlights its impressive graphics for the time, utilizing the console's capabilities well. However, the review questions if the game lives up to its name. While visually stunning, it's criticized for a lack of significant innovation and a surprising absence of impactful dinosaur encounters, with the dinosaurs feeling more like background elements. The reviewer praises the game's atmosphere, level design, and the Chronoceptor weapon, also noting the constant threat of raptors. Gameplay features diverse encounters, including purlins with unusual attacks, and clever bonus games to extend play. The review's criticism centers on a disappointing shift in the final level's theme to a techno-aesthetic with android enemies. Despite this, impressive enemy encounters like Triceratops and Riders are still mentioned. Ultimately, the review presents Turok as a visually appealing game, with some shortcomings. Damien Butt's review of Turok Dinosaur Hunter on the Nintendo 64 highlights its intense, fast-paced gameplay, particularly in the early stages, and emphasizes the need to constantly upgrade weaponry. The game builds tension through scarce ammunition, similar to classic FPS titles. Turok's control scheme, utilizing the analog stick and C buttons, is praised as innovative for console FPS games. Visually, the game impresses with vibrant colors and graphics that exceed N64 standards. The review also notes the game's customizable gore options. A comprehensive weapon guide lists 14 weapons, ranging from a knife and arrows to powerful firearms like the quad rocket launcher and the ultimate Chronoceptor. The review concludes with a tongue-in-cheek observation, suggesting the game might be more about action than dinosaur hunting. 64 Magazine reviewed Turok Dinosaur Hunter, awarding it an 80% overall. The review praised the N64 controller's control scheme, but criticized the game's lack of true dinosaurs and originality, noting a feeling of unmet anticipation. The review also cited a limited number of enemies, questioning the game's imagination compared to titles like Tomb Raider. While the graphics were lauded, other criticisms included repetitive gameplay and tedious jumping sections. Despite high scores elsewhere, the review found the game lacked inventiveness. The review humorously described the game as comical, referencing its comic book origins and noting its lack of commercial success. The summing up box acknowledged the game's graphical prowess, but lamented its lack of imagination and innovation, humorously suggesting improvements for a sequel. Screenshots showed violent combat and the game environment. Or indigestion. Phil King's review of FIFA 64 for the Nintendo 64 is overwhelmingly negative. The review criticizes the game's appalling graphics, jerky animation, and lack of N64 power utilization, especially when compared to the PlayStation version. A 64,000 question box highlights these flaws, advising PlayStation owners not to bother. Comparative rating boxes consistently favor International Superstar Soccer Pro, ISS Pro, which scores significantly higher in areas like animation, realism, and gameplay. Overall, FIFA 64 receives a dismal 36% compared to ISS Pro's impressive 91%, labeled as superior in both looks and playability. Sections further condemn the animation, camera movement, and simplistic gameplay, including poor goalie AI. Screenshots support the criticism, showcasing blocky graphics. The review concludes that FIFA 64 was disappointing, particularly beside the competition. This page reviews NBA hangtime on the N64, stating that after umpteen versions of NBA Jam, Midway still thinks 5 players on a basketball team is too many, as NBA hangtime is a resurrected classic gameplay of 2-on-2 arcade basketball. It's mentioned as a near-identical conversion of the coin-op version, and perhaps could have been done on older machines. The Create Player mode is highlighted as a good feature, allowing you to create your own custom players with bizarre heads, such as werewolves and clowns. Gameplay is described as having turbo running and spectacular slam dunks, with new moves like spin dribble and alley-oop. The review notes the 3-button arcade gameplay is fun, but lacks depth. The game scores 4 out of 4 N64 logos for graphics, audio, gameplay, and lasting challenge in the rating section. The overall verdict is 60%, summarized as a fun but shallow arcade conversion, recommending real basketball fans should wait for something better. Control keys and combo moves are listed, and screenshots show gameplay, the Create Player screen, and halftime stats. The next page features a review of Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey on the N64, and it's getting a very respectable 84% overall. They reckon it's got unbeatable 4-player action. The review highlights the analog controller as key to the game's success, praising the speed and smooth animation, typical N64 traits apparently. They do say the players are a bit bland and so is the rink, and it's not a massive leap forward. The graphics are described as well-drawn and colorful, despite not being overly lavish, with detailed players and cool visual effects. Sound and commentary are also top-notch, impressive for a cartridge, and the sound effects add to the experience. Gameplay is lauded as infinitely playable, especially the 4-player mode. The reviewer notes it could have done with more long-term features to back it up. Control-wise, the analog stick is a marvel, making spinning and skating around the rink a joy. They mention the power shot is easy to access, and the fights are decent with a good range of moves. The game has memory options to save game wins and full stats, and plenty of options to tweak rules, camera angles and teams. You can choose from various camera views, overhead, or side-on. The review scores are 4 out of 4 N64 logos across the board, for graphics, audio, gameplay, and lasting challenge. It sounds like a solid hockey title for the N64. This page is a review of Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the N64, and it's got a rather middling score of 64%. They're talking about more combat and combat cheats, detailing a button sequence to unlock extra options like level select, unlimited runs, and even bloody combat. They mention time to die, focusing on the finishing moves, covering fatalities, stage fatalities, babalities and friendships, and also highlighting the new brutality moves in this version. There's a section on the controller keys, showing the N64 pad layout, and a brief note on combos. The ratings are given as 3 out of 4 N64 logos for graphics, audio, gameplay, and lasting challenge across the board, decent enough. The information box lists GT Interactive as the publisher, Midway as developer. It's a beat-em-up version reviewed as Us, out now import, priced at £69.99, and needs no memory or controller pack. The $64,000 question section is quite critical, suggesting it's not really a 64-bit experience. Backgrounds are poor, new characters are just color swaps, and it feels like SPLICED together games. The Get Over Here summary at the end really nails it, calling it retropap, and suggesting you shouldn't buy an N64 just for this, describing it as dull, repetitive and not worth it, especially at that price. This page is a subscription advert for 64 magazine, pushing you to sign up and not miss out on a deal of a lifetime. It's billing itself as Britain's first unofficial Nintendo 64 magazine, promising delivery straight to your door with all the latest news, interviews, previews, reviews and cheats. They're shouting about a 35% saving on the newsstand price, and assuring you the price won't go up even if the cover price does. Subscribers even get a special letter with behind-the-scenes gossip from the 64 magazine team. The page features a few screenshots, including Star Fox 64, calling it a world-exclusive review, and greatest shoot-'em-up of all time. Zelda 64, Human GP, Duke Nukem 64 and Blast Corps are also pictured. There are subscription prices listed for 6 or 12 issues, with different rates for the UK, Europe and the rest of the world, including postage and packaging. Cheat Central offers a collection of tips and cheats for several N64 games. Wave Race 64 has codes for jet ski colors and riding a dolphin. Mortal Kombat Trilogy features a large list of codes for hidden characters, including Ermac, Smoke, Motaro, and Shao Kahn. J-League Perfect Striker offers cheats for hidden teams and oversized heads, while Killer Instinct Gold unlocks everything. Doom 64 includes level passwords. Turok, Dinosaur Hunter boasts codes for various modes like Tiny Enemies, Sketch, Disco, and Greg mode, along with all weapons and infinite ammo. Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey provides cheats to unlock teams, change player sizes, and make players invisible. Finally, there's a N64 controller guide and a detailed walkthrough for Shadows of the Empire's Escape from Echo Base level, describing challenge points and offering tips for navigating the level. The next page continues the playing guide for Shadows of the Empire. We are now moving beyond Echo Base and into the Asteroid Field, Ord Mantell Junkyard, and Gaul Spaceport levels. The guide details where to find all the challenge points within these levels, giving tips on how to spot the red asteroid challenge points in the asteroid field. For Ord Mantell Junkyard, it highlights the first 3 challenge points, and challenge point 5 which is floating in mid-air, as well as describing the boss battle against IG-88 at the end of the level, noting he's much tougher than the attack list. The guide mentions his speed and flamethrower attacks, but suggests using invulnerability if you have it. For Gaul Spaceport, it starts with challenge point 1 inside the Outrider, and describes navigating to challenge point 10, which involves a tricky jump across a chasm, and then details the AT's boss fight in this level, suggesting attacking its belly and using Seekers if you have them. This guide details level navigation and challenge points for Shadows of the Empire. It covers multiple challenge points involving jetpack use, Seeker targeting, and navigating complex environments like Imperial bases and caves. Players must find and collect challenge points through specific actions, such as eliminating enemies, using the jetpack strategically, and activating switches. Key locations include blast doors, control towers, skiffs, and hangars. The guide culminates in a boss battle against Boba Fett, emphasizing the need for accurate shooting, fuel monitoring, and a strategic approach. The guide suggests players to stay at the landing pad's base, and to use Seekers to attack Slave One's underbelly for a quick victory, and to be wary of the ship's destructive potential. This Turok, Dinosaur Hunter guide offers a complete walkthrough for level 1, detailing weapon locations, pistol, shotgun, save points, and checkpoints. It also covers bonus levels, revealing how to obtain the Ultra Health and shotgun. The guide pinpoints the location of the Spiritual Invincibility bonus in level 1. Crucially, it shows how to find all level keys required to progress. It also helps locate the first Chronoceptor piece and a level 3 key. Gaius. Finally, the guide includes a list of classic cheat codes. These encompass various modes, such as unlimited health, big heads, infinite lives, unlimited ammo, wireframe graphics, enemy dancing, permanent invincibility, character galleries, and the game credits. This page details the walkthrough for level 2, the jungle, and level 3, the ancient city in Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. For level 2, it guides players through sections like the wooden bridge, secret area, first level 4 key, assault rifle, spiritual invincibility, second level 4 key, second Chronoceptor piece, and automatic shotgun and tech armor. The guide provides step-by-step instructions for navigating these areas. finding keys, weapons like the assault rifle and shotgun, and bonuses such as spiritual invincibility and life force. Screenshots illustrate key locations like cave entrances and bridges. Moving on to level 3. The Ancient City, the walkthrough covers Secret Area, 3rd level 4 key, Spiritual Invincibility, 3rd level 5 key, 5th level 5 key, and the East Ledge. It directs players to find more secret areas, collect level keys, and grab another spiritual invincibility bonus. The guide mentions encountering enemies like purlins and raptors, and details how to proceed through temples, underwater cracks, and pyramid areas, again accompanied by helpful screenshots. The overall tone is very much a straightforward nonsense guide to getting through these levels in Turok. This page continues the walkthrough for Turok, Dinosaur Hunter, now diving into level 4, the ruins, and level 5, the catacombs. Level 4 kicks off with getting the first level 8 key by jumping into water and exploring a cave, followed by nabbing the minigun after a teleport ride, and navigating ledges and ravines. Classic Turok stuff. Then it's on to the 3 pillars puzzle, jumping and teleporting to get the grenade launcher. The 4th Chronoceptor piece is next, involving a maze and more teleporting. There's talk of an invisible path to find, and the first level 6 key, before pillar jumping, which sounds like more watery platforming to return to the hub ruins. Level 5, the catacombs, is up next, starting with the 2nd level 8 key found in a cave near the entrance. Then it's into the main switch room, battling ancient warriors and activating switches to progress. The 5th Chronoceptor piece involves water and levers near high priests, and the 3rd Chronoceptor piece takes you back up and through traps. The boss Long Hunter section details tactics for this chap, suggesting running backwards or getting up close. Finally, spiritual invincibility is mentioned again. Located through some tunnels with purlins waiting to ambush you. Looks like plenty of keys, Chronoceptor bits, and tough enemies to deal with in these levels. Level 6, Treetop Village, follows the Mantis boss fight. Players should prepare for purlin ambushes and choose between straightforward paths or detours for extra items, including a hidden alien weapon in a secret cove. The level includes 3 level 7 keys, one found after a swim and combat, another in a hut defended by ancient warriors, and the final one after crossing a rope bridge and defeating a high priest. There are also teleporters with health bonuses and spiritual invincibility guarded by enemies. The 6th Chronoceptor piece is obtained after traversing a rope bridge and ledge. Level 7, the Lost Land, starts with a path to the fusion cannon, facing alien infantry. A save point follows the cannon pickup. Players use summoning platforms after defeating demon lords to reach a teleporter. The 7th Chronoceptor piece is acquired by jumping from the save point area. Rishavertuzaton, Chorus. This guide details how to beat level 8, the final confrontation, in Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. It begins with collecting essential items like Ultra Health and Tech Armor. The player then proceeds through a series of doors to obtain spiritual invincibility, followed by a secret area. The guide covers strategies for the 2 bosses. For the Treks, use the fusion cannon while circling it. For the final boss, the Campaigner, immediately hit him with the Chronoceptor, then switch to rapid-fire weapons while retreating. The guide also includes instructions on finding the 3rd save point, the secret area, level 8 keys, and the 8th Chronoceptor piece. It provides navigation tips, starting with the first teleporter. Key enemies include cyborgs with lasers, red droids, and the player needs to watch out for laser traps and killer crabs. This page dives into Super Mario 64, focusing on Course 2, Hoomps Fortress. It's a guide to collecting 7 of the stars in this level. Star 1, Chip Off Hoomps Block, is about defeating the giant Hoomp at the fortress top. Star 2, To the Top of the Fortress, guides you back to the summit again now that the giant Hoomp is gone. Star 3, Shoot Into the Wild Blue, involves using a cannon to reach a star hidden on a small platform. Star 4, Red Coins on the Floating Isle, is a classic red coin hunt across floating platforms. Star 5, Fall Onto the Caged Island, tasks you with reaching a star inside a caged island, floating near the fortress with the help of an owl. Star 6, Blast Away the Wall, involves using a cannon again to smash a wall and reveal a star. Finally, Star 7, Collect 100 coins, is your standard coin collecting challenge, and it suggests using the red coin star from earlier as a good starting point. The page uses screenshots to illustrate the tips for each star objective, a helpful walkthrough for players tackling Hoomps Fortress. This guide provides a walkthrough for Jolly Roger Bay, Course 3 in Super Mario 64. It details how to obtain all 7 stars within the sunken ship-themed level. The guide covers each star's objective, including raiding the sunken ship, battling a moray eel, navigating a treasure-filled cave, collecting red coins, using a cannon to reach a pillar, utilizing the metal cap to overcome a strong current, and the classic 100 coin challenge. The guide also includes coin locations, with details on yellow, red, and blue coins, along with a maximum of 104 yellow coins. Screenshots are provided to assist players in completing each star's tasks. Warrington Orson coins. This guide details how to obtain all 7 stars in Super Mario 64's Cool Mountain level. Players start by completing Slip Sliding Away by sliding down the snowy slope. Lil Penguin Lost involves reuniting a baby penguin with its mother. Big Penguin Race challenges players to win a race down the ice slide against a big penguin. Frosty Slide for 8 red coins tasks players with collecting 8 red coins on a rope bridge. Wall Kicks Will Work requires using a cannon to reach a star on a ledge. Snowman's Lost His Head involves guiding a snowman's body to its head. Finally, Collect 100 coins challenges players to collect all coins in the level, utilizing the ice slide and various coin locations. This page is all about conquering Big Boo's haunt in Super Mario 64 and getting all 7 stars. It kicks off with Go on a Ghost Hunt, where you're battling 5 little Boos, then the big fella himself, classic stuff. Ride Big Boo's merry-go-round is next, taking a spin and clearing out more Boos, this time on the merry-go-round. Secret of the Haunted Books is a proper library puzzle, pushing those blighters back on the shelves. Find the 8 red coins is always a good challenge, and this page pinpoints all their locations across different rooms in the haunted house. Big Boo's balcony requires a bit of platforming to reach the balcony for another scrap with Big Boo. Eye to Eye in the secret room is a sneaky one, needing the vanish cap to get through the secret attic. Lastly, there's Collect 100 Coins, the standard coin collecting challenge. In it also gives a top tip that the Boos and the basement merry-go-round are good spots for racking up coins to get your max score. This guide details how to obtain 6 stars in Super Mario 64's Hazy Maze Cave. You'll swim with a sea dragon for Star 1, using the map to navigate to an island. Star 2 involves collecting 8 red coins within the work elevator room, avoiding obstacles. Star 3 requires becoming Metal Mario by activating a switch in the underwater lake. Stars 4 and 5 involve finding secret exits within the Hazy Maze itself, dodging toxic gas and enemies. Star 6, Watch for Rolling Rocks, tasks you with navigating the rolling boulder area to reach the star, utilizing wall kicks to ascend a platform. Remember to collect 100 coins for an extra star. This preview highlights upcoming Nintendo 64 titles. Notable games include the never-released on 64 Mother 3, Duke Nukem with its iconic tagline, and the action-packed San Francisco Rush. Mission Impossible promises a visually stunning experience, while Multi-Racing Championship is touted as the premier racing game. The bizarre Silicon Valley and Goemon 5 are also mentioned, alongside Clay Fighter Extreme, Cruisin' World, Doraemon, and the isometric Bomberman 64. A Hot 5 list ranks anticipated games, including Zelda 64 and Duke Nukem 3D. Secrets and Lies hints at Turok 2's development and a potential Namco beat-em-up. A coming soon list details a vast array of games in production, including several previously mentioned titles and popular games like GoldenEye 007 and Star Fox 64. The article concludes with rumors of colored joypads and concerns about third-party controllers. This preview of Mother 3, intended for the 64DD, promised a departure from the series' previous twee atmosphere, with a darker, more detailed world. Developed by Shigesato Itoi and Benimaru Ito, the game aimed for an environment like Zelda, but on hard drugs, utilizing a 3D engine akin to Mario 64. It featured hundreds of characters, impressive polygon counts, and environments described as oversized and multicolored. The story involved a meteorite, zombies, and a mysterious metal pipeline. The article highlights the 64DD's writable disk format as an advantage, promising more data capacity and save functionality. While praising the game's potential, the preview expresses cautious optimism, acknowledging the uncertainty surrounding the then-new 64DD technology. The piece concludes with a prescient question about potential delays, a foreshadowing of the game's eventual fate due to the 64DD's failure. Duke Nukem 3D on the N64, developed by Raven and published by GT Interactive, is slated for release between June and September. This port aims to surpass the PC version with improved graphics, smoother textures, richer colors, and both 4-player split-screen deathmatches and cooperative play. The game promises diverse level designs, akin to Doom in scale, featuring city streets, comic shops, and a submarine, all infused with Duke's signature style. Weaponry includes the Shrink Ray and Action Shotgun, with enemies like pig-faced police and alien predators. Controls, similar to the original PC Doom, may be tweaked. Anticipate toned-down adult content due to Nintendo's restrictions. The game is highly anticipated, touted as the next big first-person shooter after Turok, showcasing split-screen action and various environments in screenshots. The next page in 64 magazine previews 2 racing titles. First up is San Francisco Rush, which, as the name suggests, is all about high-speed racing through the city. It sounds like it's capturing that arcade feel with over-the-top driving and stunts, making use of the city's varied routes, even sewers. They are talking about it being an adrenaline-pumping racer, set on the bumpy streets and comparing it to Cruisin' USA, hoping it's better. The screenshots show some wild crashes and city environments. They are also mentioning split-screen multiplayer. Then there's Multi-Racing Championship, which is touted as the N64's first third-party racing game. This one's aiming for more realism, particularly in graphics, apparently the most realistic they've seen in the magazine. It's described as a Sega rally-style speedfest. It seems customization is a big part of it, letting you tweak car setups and engine settings. They mention different modes, including Grand Prix and versus Visuals with split-screen. Car models listed are Renault Megane, Ford Escort, and Alpha 145. The tracks are described as multi-layered with tunnels and mud, but no cockpit view has been seen yet. It's positioned as a rival to Top Gear Rally, aiming for a June 97 release in Japan and November 97 in the USA. Silicon Valley, a weird game from the creators of Lemmings, DMA Design, and published by BMG, is slated for a Christmas 97 release. The game features a chaotic premise involving a space station and a cast of bizarre animal characters, including swimming animals that drown and llamas with chainsaws. Players control Evo, a non-human agent, and can switch between up to 40 animals, each with unique abilities. The game is described as a Mario-style adventure with over 50 levels. Visually, it's compared to Sentinel, suggesting detailed environments. The developers are aiming for a fun and potentially surprising hit, blending various gameplay styles. This page is an advert for NetGamer magazine. Looks like it's all about PC multiplayer gaming. They're pushing the online angle hard, reckon it's got all the news, previews and guides you need for getting into PC gaming online with your modem and network. They're even chucking in a keydrum with game demos and utilities. Subscription deals are on offer if you want to sign up. This preview of the Nintendo 64's Mission Impossible describes a blend of action and RPG elements, prioritizing social interaction and problem-solving over combat, though violence is an option. Players assume the role of Ethan Hunt, navigating scenarios with varied approaches, hinting at advanced AI. The game features gadgets like exploding bubblegum and snapshot specs. While the graphics are noted as Seoul, camera angles are a concern. A 64DD version, with enhanced voice interaction and online play, is also mentioned. The page includes several advertisements for N64 consoles and games. Madeira Games, Visions, Wild Imports, Entertain, and Console King all offer import consoles, UK versions, and various games like Mario 64, GoldenEye, Wave Race and Turok, along with accessories and part exchange options. This page offers a preview of Goemon 5 for the N64, calling it, "The Legend of the Mystical Ninja returns in style on the N64." It mentions the Goemon series has been with Nintendo owners from the start, and this new iteration on the N64 is a 3D adventure that rivals even Mario 64 in size and scale. The article highlights the impressive scenery and 3D world, emphasizing the freedom of movement and comparing it to Mario 64. It mentions two-player cooperative mode, similar to Gauntlet, where players can team up side by side. The combat is said to be more impressive than ever, with a shoot-'em-up element when encountering enemies. Bosses are also mentioned, located in key buildings. There's a side piece about Baseball comes to N64, discussing Powerful Pro Baseball 4, noting its colorful cartoon graphics, good use of the analog controller, and that it's already proved a hit in Japan. It suggested it might come to Europe as an import. The preview box for Goemon states, "Goemon has the mighty Zelda to contend with, but its more hard-edged world will be an instant hit with adult gamers. The two-player element is also very appealing. There's also a reservation copy section at the bottom right for readers to reserve Play magazine, highlighting Duke Nukem, Tiger Shark, and Abe's Odyssey in a GT interactive progress report. Clay Fighter Extreme is presented as a significant upgrade for the N64, boasting claymation visuals and gameplay described as a 3D beat-em-up with melting and morphing moves. The game features unique characters like a Statue of Liberty and Hobocop, and is considered a strong contender in the genre. Bomberman 64 reinvents the classic with an isometric 3D perspective. While retaining the core gameplay of blowing up blocks and trapping enemies, it now features destructible environments. Doraemon, a 3D adventure game based on a Japanese anime, is also previewed. It features a robotic cat protagonist with special abilities and gadgets, promising a fun, Mario 64-like adventure, despite potential cultural differences for a UK audience. This page kicks off with a preview of Cruisin' World, sequel to Cruisin' USA. They reckon it's back for another try, questioning if it's any good after they slated the first game. Apparently, you can now race all over the globe, not just the USA, with locations including France, Italy, China, Russia, Egypt and Australia. They're promising better graphics and more realistic crashes, and hoping for a much better racing experience. Below that is a preview of Mace, The Dark Age, a beat-em-up for the N64. They're asking if it's the exception to the rule of N64, beat-em-ups being a bit pants. They're excited about it, saying it looks far better than other beat-em-ups on the system with sharp graphics. It's described as weapon-based, like Soul Edge/Blade on the PlayStation, and features 11 characters with over 30 moves each, all motion captured. They mention characters like Lord Deimos, Ragnar, Koyasha, Al-Rashid, Takeshi, Mardos Kul, and Xiaolong, alongside Countess Tyria and Namira. They hint at decapitations and ring-outs. They reckon it's one of the best-looking beat-em-ups they've seen, and are calling it a serious Tekken 3 contender. On the right is a big advert for Power Station magazine, boasting 132 pages of PlayStation tips and solutions, including cheats for games like Micro Machines V3, Excalibur 2555 AD, Porsche Challenge, and Soul Blade. It's pushing itself as the UK's #1 PlayStation tips magazine. There's a reservation form to subscribe at the bottom. 64 Magazine's Games Nindex reviews Nintendo 64 launch titles. Super Mario 64 shines with a 95%, lauded for its groundbreaking 3D gameplay. Pilot Wings 64 earns an 89% for its diverse experience. Doom 64 gets an 81%, a fun if familiar, update. Shadows of the Empire, 88%, is a flawed but worthy Star Wars game. Mario Kart 64, 94%, delivers on its 4-player promise. Other highlights include Turok, Dinosaur Hunter, 82%, for its visuals, Blast Corps, 88%, for its addictive arcade fun, and Wave Race 64, 94%, for its stunning graphics. Perfect Striker, 91%, sets a high standard for soccer. However, some games disappoint. FIFA 64 29% and Cruisin' USA 31% are deemed poor. Mortal Kombat Trilogy 62% feels dated. NBA Hangtime 60% and Human Grand Prix 78% lack depth. Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey 84% has potential. Killer Instinct Gold gets 75%. This page previews an upcoming issue of a gaming magazine focused on the Nintendo 64. The issue will heavily feature GoldenEye 007, with a behind-the-scenes look at Rare's exclusive shooter. Other games to be covered include Multi Racing Championship, Goman 5, Bomberman 64, Zelda, Castlevania 3D, Turok 2, Reverend Limit, Wild Choppers, and Blast Corps. The page also advertises accessories from Fire International. These include a 1MB memory card, a SFX 64 game adapter for playing imported games, controller extension cables, and various video cables, SCART, S-Video, and standard AV, to optimize the N64's picture quality. The AV cable is also compatible with the Super NES, Fix,